Okay, good morning to all of you. So whether this slide is visible, anyone, please respond.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Mm. So today we'll discuss about another white box testing, that is data flow testing. It is also a coverage-based testing. Okay, this is one of the important testing technique. Let's see in detail. So far we have seen about different coverage-based testing techniques such as statement coverage, branch coverage, condition coverage, path coverage, etc. Now let's see what is the limitation of these coverage-based testing techniques, particularly the path-based testing technique. In path coverage, what is happening? In path coverage, the emphasis was given to cover a path, or emphasis was given to cover each and every path at least once. Using what? Using maybe statement coverage or branch coverage. Okay. In path coverage, the emphasis was given to cover a path using the statements, or to cover each and every path using the statements, or using the statement or branch coverage. However, in this path coverage testing, no emphasis was given about the data and the data integrity. However, the data and the data integrity, they are also equally important. They are as important as the code and the code integrity of a module. So we have to give special emphasis, special importance to the data and data integrity of a program. We have checked every possibility of the control flow of a module while discussing the data flow, the control flow based testing or the path based testing. We have checked every possibility of the control flow of a module. But what happens? But what about the data flow in the module? We have not thought upon that. During the coverage based testing, so far we have discussed, we have not given any emphasis on the data flow in the module. These questions can be answered if we can consider the different data objects present in the control flow of a module. Okay. These questions can be answered if we consider, if we can emphasize the data objects in the control flow of a module. Data flow testing is a white box testing, I have already told you. It's a coverage based testing. So data flow testing is a white box testing that can be used to detect the improper use of data values due to the coding errors. Okay. So data flow testing, it is a white box testing technique that can be used to detect what? To detect the improper use of the data values due to the coding errors. You know that errors may be unintentionally introduced to a program by the programmers. They are not intentionally introducing errors. Errors may be unintentionally introduced in a program by programmers. For example, a programmer, he might use a variable without defining it. He has not defined the variable x, but he is trying to use a variable x. Obviously, this is an error. Data flow testing techniques, they give a chance to look out for the inappropriate data definition. They are used in the predicates, computations, and determination, etc. Okay. So data flow testing techniques, they give a chance to find out, to look out for the inappropriate data definitions which are or data which are inappropriately defined. The data flow testing techniques, they give a chance to look out for the inappropriate data definitions. They are used in the predicates and computations and termination. Okay. This data flow testing technique, it identifies the potential bugs present in a program. How? By examining the patterns in which that piece of data is used. Okay. This data flow testing technique, it defines the potential bugs present in a program by examining the different patterns in which that piece of data is used. Let's take a small example. So if you have used an out of scope data, its scope is already over. If an out of scope data is being used in a computation, then obviously it is a bug. There may be several patterns like this which indicate data anomaly. So these types of bugs, these types of patterns, like that example I have given, like out of scope data, etc. There may be several other patterns like this bug, like this pattern, which indicate data anomalies. So if these types of patterns are there, if these types of bugs are there, then we say that some data anomalies exist. To examine the different patterns, the control flow graph of a program is used. We have to first construct the control flow graph, and by using that control flow graph, we can examine, we can find the different patterns, such patterns which may lead to bugs or which may lead to errors. This data flow testing strategy, this test strategy, it selects what? It selects the paths in the module's control flow. So since we are constructing the control flow graph just like path-based testing. So this test strategy selects the paths in the module's control flow such that the various sequences of data objects can be chosen. What are the various possible sequences of the data objects can be chosen? Okay. So this test strategy selects the possible paths in the module's control flow so that the different various sequences of data objects can be chosen. Here the major focus is on the points at which the data receives values and the places at which the data initialized has been referenced. So where the points or the statements where the data it receives some values and the points where the data initialized has been referenced. So the major focus in this testing, is on the points at which the data receives the values and the points or the places at which the data initialized has been referenced. So now what we have to do? Thus we have to choose enough paths in the control flow. So in the control flow graph, we have to find out enough paths. Thus, we have to choose enough paths in the control flow to ensure that every data is initialized properly. Every data is initialized before use. Before you are using a data, that has to be used. Before you are using the variable A, data has to be initialized. And all the defined data have been used somewhere else. Which data, which variable you have defined, that should be used somewhere else. So in this testing, thus we have to choose enough paths in the control flow in order to ensure that every data is initialized before its use and all the defined data have been used somewhere. If you have defined some data, that has you have to ensure that that data has been used somewhere else. So these two things we have to check in data flow testing. Two examples: every data what is used before that is initialized. Similarly, every data that you have defined, data has been used somewhere else. The data flow based testing, it selects test paths of a program. How? The data flow based testing technique, it selects the test paths of a program according to the locations of the definitions and the uses of the different variables in the program, where the variables are defined and where the variables are used. According to their locations, this testing strategy selects the different test paths of a program. All right. So this testing, it selects test paths of a program according to the locations of the definitions and the uses of the different variables present in a program. Let's take a small example. I have taken a skeletal code. There is a function x. First variable a is defined, integer a is equal to 5. Then some while condition, then some if condition, and now what variable we have defined here, a is equal to 5, that is used now here, b is equal to a star a. Again, I am trying to define a is equal to a minus 1, and finally I am printing the value of a. So in this way, in this program, you can see at different points age, the variable a is defined, and some points the variable a is used. So here you can see that where it is used. So here first time line number 5 it is used. Before that, we should ensure that it is defined. If it is not defined, you cannot use it. Yes, we have seen that line number 2 is defined and hence we can use at line number 5, no problem. Okay, so we have to ensure that the variable once it is defined, where it is used, before that it has been defined. Similarly, if we see that a variable is defined, that is used somewhere else. So here age equal age defined here, it is used at multiple places like that. So in this program, we have seen that variable age used, variable age first defined before it's used, and similarly, once a variable is defined, that is used at some places. Okay, so in this way, this data flow based testing, it selects test paths of a program according to the locations of the definitions and the uses of the different variables present in a program. Now, in order to perform data flow testing, we have to see some simple definitions. So, for a statement numbered with S, we want to define two sets, def S and uses S. Def stands for definition, uses stands for that use. So, def S is defined as the set of variables X such that the statement S, it contains a definition of X. Okay. So if a small program is there, if you want to find out to def S, it will contain S, where S is a statement number. It is the set of what the variable say. Such statement S contains a definition of X. It contains only the definition of the variable X. Similarly, uses S is another set. This is the set of variables X, where the statement S contains what? A use of X, where X is used. Let us take a small example. Say example 1, age equal to B. If you see age equal to B in this line, this statement, what is statement number 1? So def 1 will be what? What is defined at line number 1? What is defined? You can see age defined. So def 1 is equal to age. So similarly, if you find out the uses 1, that means what is used at that is what is used as statement number 1. You can see B is used. So uses 1 is equal to B. Another example, if we take age equal to A plus B, we want to find out def 1. What is defined here? It is only age defined. So similarly, if we find out what is uses 1, that means what is used at line number 1, you can see both A and B are used at line number 1. In this way, you can find out the def S set and the uses S set. Okay. Now I want to take another important definition after discussing def and use or def and uses. This definition, X is said to be live at statement S1 if the following conditions occur. I am again repeating, a variable X is said to be live at statement S1 if the following two conditions are satisfied. Number 1, the variable X is defined at a statement S. Okay, the variable S, I have already told you, if you want to use a variable, first it needs to be defined. So X is defined at a statement S, and there exists a path from S to S1, from statement S to statement S1. There exists a path not containing any deep definition of X. That means S, it is only defines, it is X is defined only at S. In between S to S1, no, here X is redefined. Only S1 is used, X is used at S1. This is how, if this condition is satisfied, we say that X is live at S1. I am repeating again. Suppose there is a variable X, and we say that variable X is said to be live at statement S1 if two conditions are satisfied. Number 1, variable X, it is defined at a statement S1, and then variable X is used at S1, and there exists a path from where statement S to S1 such that this path from S to S1, it does not contain the definition of X. That means X is not redefined in between S to S1. If it is redefined in between S to S1, then we say that no, X is not live. Otherwise, if it is not defined in between S to S1, then we say that X is live at X1, that is used there, and it is defined at S. So a variable X is said to be live at statement S1 if X is defined at a particular statement S, and there exists a path from S to S1 not containing any definition of X. We'll take a simple example. So here I have taken int A is equal to 5. A is defined here at line number 2. You can see that at line number 5 A is used. Now let us check whether I can say that the variable A is live at line number 5 or not. So what I have to see, we have to test two conditions. First, X is defined at state number S and there exists a path from S to S1 not containing any definition of X. So here we have taken A is defined at line number 2. It is used at line number 5 and in between there are two statements 3 and 4. Nowhere A is redefined. In line number 3 or 4, A is not redefined. So we say that variable A is live at line number 5 because it is already defined previously at line number 2, and from line number 2 line number 5 in this path nowhere A is redefined. So we say that A is live at line number 5. Okay. So, but I cannot say that live, okay, yes, but I cannot say that A is live at line number 8. Because if you take this 2, A is defined at 2, but again it is redefined at 6. So, if I take the original definition point 2 and uses value that A is used at 8, I cannot say A is live at which is defined at line number 2 and used at line number 8. That is not A is not live here because you can see at line number 6 it is redefined, which is in between the path, which is in between the statements 2 and 8. Okay, but if you take that A is defined at line number 6, then it is used at line number 8, then we can say that yes, A is live here. But with respect to the definition at line number 2, I cannot say that A is live at line number 8 because it is redefined at line number 6. But if I'll take that A is defined at line number 6 with respect to line number 6, I can say that A is what live at line number 8. Okay. In this way, we discuss about live when we say that a variable is live. Why I have discussed this thing? Because I have to define another important definition, that is, okay. So another important definition I want to discuss, that is DU chain, because we are discussing data flow testing. The objective is a coverage based testing. So we have to cover something, just like some element like statement or branch or etc. So here what we have to cover? We have to cover DU chain. That means we should design test cases in such a way that each and every DU chain should be covered at least once. So now first we have to see what is a DU chain. Let's define what is a DU. DU chain stands for definition use chain. It is represented at XSS1. Okay. So we say that XSS1 is a DU chain if it satisfies the following properties, where X is a variable, S and S1 are statement number. So XSS1 is said to be a DU chain. S and S1 are statement numbers. X belongs to definition of S. Definition of S we have already told you. Similarly, X belongs to uses S1. What is uses S? That also I have told you. And the definition of X in the statement S, because you see X is defined at line number what S? X belongs to def S. So the definition of X in the statement S is live at statement S1. That means once it is defined at line number S, and if it is used at line number S1, no statements in between this. It contains definition of X. X is not redefined in the path from S to S1. If this is satisfied, we call it as a DU chain. I am repeating again. XSS1 is a def use chain or DU chain if S and S1 are statement numbers. X is a variable. X is a variable such that it belongs to def S. X also belongs to uses S1, and the definition of X in the statement S is live at statement S1. That means once X is defined at line number S, it is used at line number S1. In between S2, S1, in this path S2, S1, no other statements contains what redefinition of X. Then we say that XS1 is a DU chain. Okay. So if we will go to our previous example, you can see that age defined at line number 2, age used at line number 5. So I can say A to 5 is a DU chain. That means 2 to 5 is a DU chain for the variable A, because in between 2 to 5 nowhere A is redefined. But I cannot say that A to 8 is a DU chain, because A is defined as 2, again A is redefined as 6 before reaching 8. So that's why A to 8 is not a DU chain, whereas A to 5 is a DU chain. That means A is live at line number 5, which is defined at line number 2. So 2, 5 can be a DU chain for A, but 2, 8 cannot be a DU chain for A. This is how we discuss about DU chain. Let us see what is this. What the strategy says in data flow based testing. What should the strategy? In statement coverage based testing, what is the strategy? We have to design the test cases in such a way that each and every statement should be executed at least for once. Similarly, in control flow based testing, path based testing, what is strategy? We have to design the test cases in such a way that each and every path should be executed at least once. Similarly, the data flow based testing strategy is stated as follows. One simple data flow testing strategy is that we should design test cases in such a way that every DU chain in a program should be covered at least once. Okay. So the data flow based testing strategy says that we have to design the test cases in such a way that every DU chain in a program must be covered at least once. This is known as this data flow based testing strategy. The data flow based testing strategy, let's see where it is very much beneficial, where it can, where this technique is. Data flow based testing strategies, they are very much useful for selecting the test paths of a program containing nested if and loop statements. So in the programs where so many numbers of nested if statements are there and loop statements are there, in those cases, data flow testing strategy is very much useful. Let's take another small example. So a small method I have taken X, where line number 2 represents B1, and at B1 we define variable A. Similar line number 3 while C1, then if another condition C2, if another condition C4, then B4, else B5, else if C3 B3, else some other statement B3, and last one is B6. So here you can see that the variable A is used at line number 5. Okay. So variable A is defined at line number 2 at A B1, and variable A is used at line number 5 at B4. And you can see in between 2 to 5, nowhere your variable A is redefined. So we say that variable A, which is defined at 2, is live at line number 5 at B4. Okay. So you can say that A15 is a DU chain. A15, or you can say 25, whatever that, because before at 1 is a function definition. So either you can say 15 or 25, whatever that may be. A15 is a DU chain. Now let us assume that X is defined at 5 points. So def X means where X is defined. Let us assume that. So see, if don't confuse, when I am saying def S means at line number S, what variables are defined. But if you write def X, that means what? The variable X is defined at what statements. In that way you have to understand. So here I have chosen like this. So def X, let us assume that the variable X is defined at line number statement number B1, B2, B3, B4, B5. Uses X. X is used where? At line number B2, B3, B4, B5, and B6. In this example, you can see B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 like this, B6. So it's a sample skeletal program we have given here. So Let us assume that def x in the earlier example is b1, b2, b3, b4, b5. That means x is defined at 5 statements b1, b2, b3, b4, b5. Let us assume that uses x is equal to b2, b3, b4, b5, b6. That means x is used at the following points. So then how many div chains would be there? So if you'll see, if we'll like this, we have find out in this case for A we have seen one div chain A15. So similarly, if x is defined at b1, b2, b3, b4, b5, x is used at b2, b3, b4, b6, b5, b6. You see, x is defined at 5 statements. X is also used at 5 statements. So there are 25 div chains. If we'll find out, if you will search for all the div chains for this particular example where x is defined at 5 statements b1, b2, b4, and b5, and x is used at 5 statements b2, b3, b4, b5, b6, then you can see that you will get 25 div chains. However, only 5 paths are needed to cover the chains. If you will try to test it, you have to cover only 5 paths. If the 5 paths you will cover all the 25 chains. So, however, only 5 paths are needed to cover this chain. So in this way, you can perform data flow based testing by covering the paths, so that each and every div chains they will be executed at least once. Now let's see a little bit deeper of the data flow based testing. This data flow based testing also closely examines the states, the possible states of the data in the control flow graph, resulting in a richer test suite. So by using this data flow testing, you will get a richer test suite than the one which is obtained from CFG based path testing strategies like statement coverage, branch coverage, etc. So if you are using this data flow based testing, it examines the states of the different states of the data in the control flow graph, which results in a richer test suite in comparison to what? In comparison to the states of the data which are obtained from the CFG based path testing strategies like statement coverage testing or branch coverage based testing or condition coverage based testing. Now let's see what are the different possible states of a data object. These are the different possible states of a data object. A data object first is defined. That means a data object it can be defined. Similarly, data object it can be killed or undefined or released. Another state is usage. That means a data object is used at some place, and this usage can be of two types. It can be computational. That means like A is equal to B plus C. That means B is used here, and this use called it is just used. You see there are computational use. Another use could be predicate use. Predicate so these are the different possible states of a data object defined, which we give, which will represent as D, killed or undefined or released K, usage is U, computational usage C use, and predicate use P use. Okay. Then these are easy definitions. So let's quickly see. A data object can be in the following states. Defined state means a data object is called defined when it is initialized. So when you are initializing a data object, that is when it is on the left side of an assignment statement, isn't it? When a variable or object is on the left side of an assignment statement, we say that the data object is defined. A is equal to 5. So obviously A is defined here. A is equal to B plus C. So A is defined here. It is present in the left side of an assignment statement. Defined state can also be used to mean that a file has been opened, a dynamically allocated object has been allocated, something a record is written, and so on. So besides this assignment statement, that we call initialized. A data is initialized or data is defined. Besides that, defined states can also be used to mean that a file has been opened. When you are opening a file, we say that also the object is in defined state. Similarly, a dynamically allocated object has been allocated. You are allocating a dynamically allocated object. A dynamically allocated object has been allocated. Something is or some data object is pushed onto the stack. A record is written, and so on. These are all examples of defined. Next state is kill or undefined release state. We denote it as K. Again, very simple. When the data has been reinitialized, or when the scope of the loop control variable is finished, that is you are exiting, okay, exiting the loop, or memory is released dynamically, or a file has been closed. These are all examples of the state kill or undefined or release state of a data object. Usage already you have discussed earlier. When the data object is on the right side of the assignment, or the control variable in a loop, or in an expression which is used to evaluate the control of a case statement, or as a pointer to an object, etc. These are all usage statements. A is equal to B plus C. That means what? In right hand side B and C are there. That means the data objects B and C are used here. The control variable in a loop while n is less than 10. Here n is what you say? It is a usage of n. Or in an expression to use to evaluate the control flow of a case statement. Case statement you are using switch, say you are using that case, that variable you are using, that is also usage example. Or as a pointer to an object. These are all examples of usage object. In general, we say that the usage object is of two types. It can be computational use or it can be predicate use. Computational use example I have already given, A is equal to B plus C. So here B and C are examples of computational use. Predicate use example is like if A is less than 5. So here A is used in a predicate. So we call that this is a predicate use. In this way, we have seen the different possible states of a data object. Now let's see something called the data flow anomalies. What are the different possible data flow anomalies? What do we mean by data flow anomaly? The data flow anomalies represent the patterns of data usage which may lead to an incorrect execution of the code. Okay, so data flow anomaly, it will represent what? Or data flow anomalies, they may represent the different patterns of data use. In which way data is used? It is the data flow anomalies. They represent the different patterns of data usage, which may lead to an incorrect execution of the code, which may lead to some bug. An anomaly is detected by two ways. Okay, so we'll see that two different types of anomalies. Number one is which can be represented by a 2-character sequence of symbols. Another is represented by just a single character sequence of symbol. An anomaly is detected either by a 2-character sequence of actions or a single character, or by a single character representing some action. Let's take an example first. This example will take first the 2-character sequence of actions. Let's see the first example. First example is DK. DK means D is what? I have already told you. D for define, K for kill, U for usage, C for C use, P for P use. So decay means what? Decay means that a variable defined and it is killed without any use. That means you have defined a variable and without using it you have killed it. Then it is obviously a bug. So decay means a variable. This is an anomaly because you have defined a variable but you have not used it. You have killed it without using it. So decay means this is a data anomaly. It means that a variable is defined and it is killed without any use, which is a potential bug. There are such, we'll find out there are 9 possible 2-character combinations, out of which only 4 are data anomalies, which is shown as the next table. Let's see what are the 9 possible 2-character combinations or the 9 possible 2-character anomalies. Okay, and whether each one leads to a bug or only fewer leads to bug. That means only fewer data anomalies or all are data anomalies. You can get, so we have seen that these important things D, K and U, because I am not considering P use and C use because it's a special type of use only. So let's consider 3. So three possibilities, sorry, three characters, three states, D, K, U. Each time you will take what two? Obviously, you will get 9 number of combinations. Let's see. First combination is DU. What does it mean by DU? Define and use. Is there any problem? No, because you have defined once, then you have used it. It's not. It's a normal case. It's allowed. There is no one. What if decay is there? Then it represents what? Define and kill. That means we are defining first and then we are killing that variable without using it. So data is killed without use after definition. So obviously this is a potential bug. Similarly, UD, you have used a data, you have used a first, you have used a variable and then define. Data is used and then redefine. Define means then redefine. But usually this is not a bug because the language permits reassignment at almost any time. Programming languages, they permit reassignment at almost any time. You have first used, then killed. It's a perfect, it's normal, allowed. It's a normal situation. But kill use is not allowed. It's a serious bug. First you are killing the data object, then you are using. Because you know after killing the scope is over, you cannot use. But if after killing it, you are using it, then this is a serious bug because the data is used after being killed. This is a serious anomaly. This is a serious bug. Kill define possible. First the data you have killed, then again you are redefining. It's allowed. Define. You have defined, then without again using it, again you are defining. Redefining a variable. You are redefining a variable without using it. Use, that means first you are using a variable, then also you are using, then you are using, no problem. This is a normal case, allowed. But kill, you are killing once, then again you are trying to kill once. It's a harmless bug, but still then it is not allowed. So these are the two character data flow anomalies, 9 possibilities we have seen. And out of those 9, you can see 4 are anomalies. They lead to potential bugs like define kill use, define and kill. All those are marked with red characters, red color. They are all, and they lead to anomaly. They lead to some problem. They lead to bugs. Okay, we should when we are performing testing, we must ensure that these anomalies must not be present in our program. Accordingly, we have to design test cases to detect them. Now, in the previous table, we have seen that not all the data flow anomalies are harmful, but most of them are suspicious, indicate an error can occur. Okay, most of them are suspicious and indicate that an error can occur. There might be, so this is all about 2 character anomalies. Now let's see single character anomalies. There may be some single character data anomalies also. To represent these types of anomalies, we take the following conventions. What are the conventions? If negative or I have used a negation symbol. Negation X means it indicates all prior actions are not interest to X. Okay, all actions before X. Okay, it indicates that all prior actions to X are not interest to X. And X negation symbol means it indicates that all post actions after X. Okay, it indicates that all post actions are not listed of interest to X. So after X, what actions are happening? We are not interested to that. Okay, after X, what actions are happening? We are not interested to that. So with these 2 notations, let's go for the single character anomaly. Define. So means this is what definition. Before that, what has happened? We are not worried for that. We are not interested. So obviously, it's a normal situation because now the first step is definitely we are defining it is allowed. But see, what negation U? That means what? It is the first use. Before that, we are not interested. But you know, we cannot use a variable unless we are defining it. So data here, the meaning is that data is used without defining. Obviously, it leads to a potential. Similar negation of K, we are first killing it because we are not interested before what has happened. But this is not, your data is killed before defining it. We have to first define, then only we can kill. If we have not defined, we cannot kill it. So data is killed before defining it. Obviously, this will lead to some potential bug. And what is, in order to mark the difference between this symbol either using before or after. So when I am using the negation symbol after, I have used capital letters so that you can easily remember, you can easily you can easily understand. So D negation means what? You can see X negation means indicates all post actions are not in list of interest to X. So after D, what is happening? We are not interested. This is the meaning of D negation. That means what? This is the last statement. D is defined. So define is the last statement. You know, once you are defining means you should use it. So that's why this will lead to a potential bug. U negation means use is the last one for us. After that, what is happening? We are not interested. Obviously, no problem. Last is used. So this is a normal case allowed. There is no problem here. K negation, that means you are killing at the last. Of course, no problem. We are defining, we are using at the end, we are killing it. At last, we are killing it. So kill last, no problem. This is a normal case and hence it is allowed. So in this way, we have seen the two character anomalies and the single character anomalies, and we have seen which of the anomalies will lead to bug. Those things we have seen. So when you design test cases, you should check for these anomalies so that the data flow testing can be done successfully. Let's quickly see some of the definitions first, then we will take a small example. Some terminologies you will see. Suppose P is a program that has a graph G, okay, and a set of variables B. Okay, suppose P is a program that has a graph GP. So GP is the graph for program P, and it has a set of variables B. The graph has a single entry and exit node. Okay, this graph has a single entry as well as single exit node. We'll see first definition node. What do you mean by definition node? So definition node means we are defining a variable. So defining a variable means assigning value to a variable for the very first time in a program. Okay, defining means what? Defining a variable, assigning a value to a variable for the very first time in a program. For example, all the input statements, assignment statements, loop control statements, procedure calls, etc. These are all examples of definition nodes. What do you mean by usage node? We have already known you. We have to use a variable. It means that the variable has been used in some statement of the program. Node N that belongs to the graph GP is a usage node of variable B if the value of variable B is used at the statements corresponding to node N. I am repeating again. Node N that belongs to the graph GP, that means graph for program P, is a usage node for a or usage node of a variable B if the value of the variable B is what? It is used at the statements or at the statement corresponding to node N. Then we say that N is a usage node. So two definitions we have seen. One is definition node or def node. We have already seen earlier def yes or def X. Next definition usage node. This is the definition by taking a graph. Usage node. This also we have already seen earlier. Usage S or usage X. So this is usage node. I have already told you that a usage node can be of the following two types. It could be a predicate node or it could be a computation node, computation usage node. Predicate usage node means if usage node N is a predicate node, then N is a predicate usage node. Predicate means normally it is a if statement, while statement, those kind of things. Then this is a predicate node, predicate usage node. Computation usage node means if usage node N corresponds to a computation statement in a program other than the predicate, then it is called a computation usage node. Okay. If the usage node N corresponds to a computation statement. Computation statement means what? Say A is equal to B plus C, like that. So computation usage node means if usage node N corresponds to a computation statement in a program other than predicate. This is not a predicate. It's a just computation statement like A is equal to B plus C is called a computation usage node. Okay. What is a loop-free path? What is a path you have already known in graph theory? Loop-free path statement means it is a path segment for which every node is visited at most once. Okay, so loop-free path segment means it is a path segment for which every node is visited once at most. You have also known simple path in a graph. Let's see about simple path segment. It is also a path segment in which at most one node is visited twice. Only one node is allowed to be visited twice. All other nodes has to be visited only once. So simple path segment, it is a path segment in which at most one node is visited twice. A simple path segment, it is either loop free, or if there is a loop, only one node is involved. Then definition use path, DU path. I have already told you DU chain. Now let's see what is a DU path. A DU path with respect to a variable V is a path between the definition node and the usage node of that variable. Okay. Any path for V between the def node and the usage node of that variable is called a DU path. The usage node can be a P usage or a C usage node. I have already told you. The usage node can be a predicate usage node or can be a C usage node. Now let us mark the difference between DU path or DU chain. DU path means any path between the definition node and the usage node. But DU chain means same, any path between definition node and usage node. But the variable cannot be redefined in between D and U node. It cannot be redefined. Okay, so a DU path with respect to a variable V is a path between the definition node and the usage node of that variable. Here redefinition is allowed, but the usage node can be either be a P usage or C usage node. But in DU chain, no redefinition is allowed in between D and DU. So we'll come to that. Now let's see the definition clear path. We have seen the definition use path. Then let's see about definition clear path. DC path. A DC path with respect to a variable V is a path between the definition node and the usage node such that no other node in the path is a defining node of variable V. What we have seen DU chain, so that is written as your DC path. We are discussing in terms of path. So we have seen DU path where it is a path between the def node and the usage node. Redefining is allowed. But in a DC path, which we call as definition clear path, similar to DU chain, here this is a path between the def node and the usage node, but no other node in the path from the def node to the usage node is a defining node of variable V. Variable V cannot be redefined between in the path starting from def node to the usage node. So we can say that what all these what we can say that in DC path no redefinition is allowed, but in DU path redefinition is allowed. So what we can say that the DU paths which are not DC paths, that means all DU paths are not DC paths, whereas DC paths can be DU paths, isn't it? So all the DU paths cannot be DC paths, but the DC paths, it is obviously all DC paths are DU paths, because here the redefinition is not at all allowed. So all the DC paths are DU paths, but not all the DU paths are DC paths. So now what you should test? How this will help us in testing? Now we have to see that the DU paths which are not DC paths are very much important, because which are DU paths, DC paths you see very much easy to check, because we have to check that whether any variable is redefined or not in between def node and usage node. But the DU paths which are not DC paths, that means there are redefinitions allowed, and in this case they may be the sources of errors. So the DU paths which are not DC paths are important, as these are potential spots for testing persons, because DC paths is testing very easy because you will just check whether any variable is redefined in between the def node or use node and use node or not. But in DU paths, all are allowed. Redefinition is also allowed. So it is very much difficult to test because these paths are the potential sources of errors. The DU paths which are not DC paths are very much important as these are potential spots for testing persons. So now what we have to do? Let's see. Those DU paths which are definition clear paths, which are DC paths, they are very easy to test because you have to just check whether any redefinition is there in between or not, in comparison to the DU paths which are not DC paths, but which are DU paths, but they are not DC paths. They are very difficult to test, and hence what we have to do, we have to give more attention to the DU paths which are not DC paths because they are the sources of errors. It's very much difficult to test them. It is very much easy to test the or check the DC paths because you will check whether any redefinition is there between def node and the usage node. But in DU paths which are not DC paths, there is no redefinition and they are the sources of errors. It is very much difficult to test those paths. So those DU paths which are definition clear are easy to test in comparison to the DU paths which are not DC paths. So the DU paths which are not DC paths need more attention because they may be the sources of errors. We have to give more emphasis on the DU paths which are not DC paths. Let's quickly take an example and explain what we have discussed so far. So there are actually two types of testing techniques, data flow testing techniques. One is static data flow testing, another is dynamic data flow testing. In static data flow testing, the source code is analyzed without executing it. As its name suggests, we are not, as its name suggests, it is static data flow testing will not execute the source code, and we perform static analysis, we will perform testing on this source code without executing it. Let's take the first example. Consider a program for calculating the gross salary of an employee in an organization. If his basic pay is less than 1500 rupees, then HR is 10% of the basic pay and DA is 90% of the basic pay. If his salary is greater than 1500, then HR is reduced, then HR is equal to 500 and DA is 90% of the basic pay, and program is what you have to do, write a program to calculate the gross salary. Okay, this is the small example. So a small program has been written, very easy you can write. What is our objective? To perform data flow testing. And how to perform data flow testing? You find out all the def use kill patterns and then check for each patterns. We have seen there are two types of patterns, single use characters and double use characters, isn't it? Double character patterns and single character patterns. Let's find out all those single character and the double character patterns, and then see, we know out of the 9 double character patterns, so 4 are serious, they are box, they are anomalies. Similarly, in a single character pattern, there are 3, they are anomalies, they lead to bug. So let us see. For each variable, how many variables are there in the program? Find out those all the possible patterns, both single patterns and single character patterns and double character patterns. Then we know which are problematic, like say like define and kill. We are defining it a variable, then immediately killing without using it. That's a anomaly, that's a problem. So similar types of anomalies or similar types of bugs we will check. Okay. So in this small example program, you see there are 4 variables. BS stands for basic salary, GS for gross salary, DA for dearness allowance, HR is for house rent allowance. For this, so there are 4 variables. Now for each variable, I have to find out all the possible single character and double character patterns. Then you will see where a problem lies, where some anomaly lies. Okay, let's see. First we'll start from BS. say you may not actually get all the 9 possible to double case and all these 6 possible single case characters. You see what are possible, you just find out. Let's see BS. BS, where it is, here is there. So first it is defined where? Line number 3. So that means before this line number 3, we are not interested. So negation D means before line number 3. Before whatever line number 3, we are not interested. So that is a normal case, no problem. Similarly, DU, let's see DU, define and use, where it is defined first, line number 3 it is defined, and then where it is used in line number 4, no problem, allowed. UU, that means where it is used again and again. Once again used it 4, another time used at 6, then another time it is 6, 7, 6 it is used, BS, see, it is used, 7 also BS, like this. All others you can find 7, 12, 12, 14 like this. These are used and used. This is not a problem. UK you can see use and kill, where it is used and then kill, like see line number 14 it is used. Last time BS is used where? Line number 14. After that no used and then it is killed. Kill means bracket is over, scope is over. So BS is killed automatically. So 14, 16. This is also no problem, normal case allowed, and kill, after kill, what is happening, we are also not interested. Where it is killed last time, BS is killed at line number 16 because the scope is over. After that, nothing, we are not interested. So K negation 16 is a normal case, it is allowed. So for the variable BS, no problem, or all possible characters, all possible combinations we have seen, so not allowed. And which we have not done, like say UK, KU, etc. These are not relevant here. So that's why you have not written those patterns here. Similarly, you can find out these patterns for GS. Here also all are normal. You can see yourself. They are all allowed. For variable DA also, all the patterns are normal. They are allowed. Now let us take a variable where some problem is there. We'll take HRA. For HRA, where let's see it is line number 1, let's see HRA is defined at line number 1. Before that, what statements are there? We are not interested. So negation of D, that is allowed perfectly, no problem. Normal case allowed. What is DD? Define and again defining. So not using. So like 1.6 you can see, line number 1.6. HRA is defined here, line number 1. And where it is used, again it is defined line number 6. Please see, HRA is defined at line number 1. In between 2, 3, 4, 5, nowhere it is used, but again it is defined at line number 6. So double definition, so it should not be allowed. So this is a bug. So DD, line number 1, HRA is defined at line number 1. Again it is defined at line number 6, not allowed. Similarly 111, let's see. HRA is defined at line number 1. And again you can see, if this if condition will not be true, that is BS is greater than 1500, then it will come to the else part. And else part see HRA, again it is defined at line number 1. Because you know either the then part will be executed or the else part. So HRA here it is defined, line number 1, without used anywhere else. At line number 11, again it is redefined. So this is DD 1 and 11. DD, define and define again and again. So 1 and 6, it is HRA is defined at line number 1. Again it is defined at line number 6 without any use anywhere else. Similarly, HRA is defined at line number 1. Again it is redefined at line number 11 without used anywhere else. So there is double definition. It is not allowed. This is a harmless bug. Other patterns, they are easy. They are normal. They are allowed. You can see yourself. So you have seen out of these 4 variables, all the possible patterns we have found out. The patterns for variable BS, patterns for variable GS, patterns for variable DA, patterns for variable HRA we have seen all the cases are allowed excepting the DD case, the DD pattern for variable HRA, because it leads to double definition, which is not allowed. This may be a potential bug. This may be a harmless bug, but double definition should not be allowed. So it is it represents double definition. It should not be allowed. From the above, this is a static technique because we are not running the code directly, analyzing the code directly by performing static analysis of the code. We are finding out the bug. Okay, we are just by analyzing the code without executing it, we are finding out the bug. So that's why this is known as static data flow testing. From the above static data flow testing, only one bug is found. What is that? In variable HRA of double definition. HRA, so for variable A, there is double definition. This is a bug. So this is how we can perform static data flow analysis or static data flow testing. This may helpful you in finding out some of the bugs. This is all about static data flow testing. Next class we'll discuss about dynamic data flow testing. Now, so let us see the summary. Today we have discussed the basic concepts of data flow testing. We have explained what is a DU chain and how to perform data flow testing. We have presented the different possible states of a data object like kill, define, use, pre-use, use, etc. We have also explained the different data flow anomalies, the 2-character anomalies and the single character anomalies. We have seen that there are 9 possible combinations for double 2-character combinations or 2-character anomalies, and there are 6 possible single character cases, or out of that 3 may lead to anomalies. We have also explained the static data flow testing with a small example. This is all about data flow testing and static data flow testing. Next class we will discuss about the dynamic data flow testing. Thank you very much. We have mainly taken some of the basic concepts of data flow testing from Rajimol's book, and the important things like the possible states, the single character anomalies, double character anomalies, the static data flow testing I have taken from Naresh Chauhan book. Please read yourself. Thank you very much. Now let's see any doubt, please. So if there is any doubt, we will happy to take. Okay. I hope nobody is interested in this, so no doubts. We'll leave it to this. Okay, so if there are no more doubts, we'll stop here. I'll put immediately the slides in Microsoft Teams. Please have a read into this. And if still you found any doubt, please ask me in the next class. Thank you very much. So if there are no more doubts, I am stopping here. Thank you very much.